Darktide's Havoc mode isn't just hard, it's designed to break you. Most squads won't even make it past the first few minutes at the higher levels, and so in this video, I explain how you can access Havoc, show you how much more difficult it actually is, and give you some key tips that may just increase your odds of survival. So let's get it on. Let's kick things off by figuring out how we can access Havoc. For starters, you must be at Trust level 30. Then, to access your Havoc assignments, you will need to talk to Commissar Duquesne by the Havoc terminal and complete a Maelstrom mission. Now, there are two ways you can go about doing this. The first way is to complete a standard Maelstrom mission, which will unlock Havoc and start you at assignment rank 1. The second way is to complete an Auric Maelstrom mission, which also unlocks Havoc and starts you at assignment rank 16. To start a Havoc mission, you need at least 2 players in a party, meaning you will need at least one other person to join you. You can use the party finder to find available groups or group up with friends or even search for a party in the Darktide Discord servers. I'm sure there are plenty of helpful souls who are willing to give you a hand. When you play Havoc, there will be 2 numbers that look similar but function differently: Havoc assignment rank and Havoc clearance level. Assignment rank is the current level of the Havoc assignment that you have access to. This is shown in the Havoc terminal on the top left. Meanwhile, Havoc clearance level is the highest rank of Havoc assignment you have completed that week. The rewards you collect from Duquesne will be determined by the highest clearance level you achieve within the week, which resets on a Monday. Your assignment rank goes up whenever you clear a Havoc mission that was higher than your current rank. So if you are rank 16 and you clear a rank 17, your new assignment rank will be 17. Speaking of which, your assignment rank can actually rise faster if you are clearing Havoc levels above your current rank. This is a table to show you what that looks like. So, in other words, if you are playing above your weight, you'll rank up faster until a certain point. This is the example table that Fatshark has shared in their patch notes. In this case, Player 2 is gaining 3 clearance levels until they are less than 10 levels away from Player 1's Havoc assignment rank. After that, Player 2 starts to rank up slower, gaining 2 clearance levels until they are less than 5 levels apart from Player 1, which happens at level 23. From then on, both Players 1 and Player 2 will only gain 1 clearance level per successful mission. The main reason for wanting to get your Havoc assignment rank as high as possible is so that you can run high Havoc missions as well, on top of having better rewards. Everyone else's assigned Havoc mission is different, so if you have 4 players in a party, there will be 4 different Havoc missions between players that you can choose to run, which gives you more variety to pick from. Now, here's the risk. Lose enough games and you'll lose a clearance level, causing you to drop your current assigned Havoc rank by 1. Every 3 games you lose, no matter who is hosting it, you lose a level. You can also lose a level every week if you don't at least attempt 1 Havoc mission. You don't have to win, you just need to attempt it, win or lose. You can also choose to demote yourself by 1 rank, dropping your assignment rank, and also rotating the current Havoc mission. So, that's everything you need to know about the mechanics of the Havoc game mode. Next, let's talk about the actual mission themselves and what madness you can expect to get yourself into. Havoc is broadly divided into 3 levels. From level 1 until 10, you are basically at the equivalent of Malice. From level 11 until 20, you are at Heresy. And from 21 onwards, you're basically playing Damnation. In addition to this base layer of difficulty, there is an increased difficulty mechanic called the Emperor's Fading Light that appears from level 16 onwards. From level 16 to 29, you'll always have the Emperor's Fading Light 1 active, where you'll have Auric Intensity activated, shooters attack faster, and you have no Toughness Grace Period available. What does no Toughness Grace Period mean? Normally, when your toughness breaks, you'll gain a brief period of range damage reduction. This prevents you from instantly getting mowed down by Reapers and Gunners if they happen to catch you off guard. Without this Toughness Grace Period, you have no forgiveness in this regard, making ranged enemies especially lethal in high Havocs when compounded with other modifiers. From rank 30 onwards, your Havoc missions will have the Emperor's Fading Light 2. So in addition to the effects of Emperor's Fading Light 1, Tension no longer affects spawn allowance. Now, understandably, this new addition probably makes very little sense if you aren't intimately familiar with the game's inner systems. Neither was I, and I had to go digging around to find out what this actually means, referring to Combine's Havoc Modifier Guide. Usually, when a player takes damage, gets disabled, down, or dies, an internal mechanic tells the director to ease up on spawning the next horde. This is so that in a normal game, the players get some time to try and recover a game that is going poorly. However, this will not be the case from Havoc 30 onwards, and is one of the main reasons why level 30 is the first main Havoc filter for many players. There is literally no forgiveness, and any mistake, however small, might cost you the game. On top of the ever-present Emperor's Fading Light, your Havoc missions will also have a combination of modifiers that can really change up how challenging and difficult the mission is going to be. Right now, as of this recording, there are a total of 8 different modifiers that you can experience in a mission. You can have up to 2 of these modifiers together, along with the Emperor's Fading Light, given your respective Havoc rank. There's also a small chance that you will get an environmental modifier like Ventilation Purge or Lights Out as well. I won't go through every single modifier since you can refer to Combine's guide again, which I'll link in the description. It's a very detailed guide that goes through the specifics of what each modifier actually does. But suffice to say, your life isn't getting any easier with these modifiers active, let alone sometimes a combination of 2 different modifiers that can seriously mess up how effective some builds can be. For example, the Final Toll is one that you should not underestimate since it neutralizes the effectiveness of staggers, making things like Smite, Chorus, and other powerful staggering abilities and blessings lose part or all of its functionality. With these upfront modifiers alone, you should have a very vivid picture of what Havoc is going to be like when you go in.
Dear God.
But there's more.
No.
Something that isn't mentioned on the Havoc screen itself is the fact that there are hidden modifiers compounding and stacking up with every additional Havoc assignment rank you face. For example, at Havoc rank assignment 1, all you have to deal with is a tiny reduction to your maximum health, only minus 15%. No big deal really. But by the time you reach rank 10, this table below here shows you how many modifiers have been added and have stacked up. Feel free to pause and read what a rank 10 mission has in addition to the main modifiers we just talked about earlier. But as you can see, the net result is that there are more enemies, they are tankier, they are thicker, and they hit harder. Meanwhile, you are handicapped by having less ammo, less health, less toughness, and because enemies have more health, your combat effectiveness has also decreased since your breakpoints will be messed up now. These modifiers only get stronger and more numerous the higher up you go. And just for reference and for fun, I'll show you what the modifier table is for Havoc 40. Again, feel free to pause and witness just how much more juiced up enemies are and how much more handicapped you are in Havoc 40. When I said that Havoc is designed to be unfair, this is why. So, when you consider the main modifiers, the Emperor's Fading Light, and all of the compounding hidden modifiers together, you see that Havoc by design is a place where nothing but the best can make it true. Everything you know and have practiced in the game will be put to test. That being said, you and your team can do absolutely everything right and still lose. This is not weakness. This is just the director being a bit of a bastard, and you have to deal with that sometimes. Now, while this isn't an in-depth guide on how to tackle Havoc, I can give you some advice that will help. The first piece of advice is to expect defeat in this mode. I know we all want to win every time because winning feels good and it's a sign that our skill is a match for the difficulty we are dealing with. But in Havoc, you can literally be put into a doomed situation without making any mistakes. Just as the Imperium of Man loses many battles, so will you in this mode. Expect it, learn from it, and build upon it. And if losing too much is getting to you and you're starting to tilt, take a break from Havoc and play something else less stressful, like an Auric Maelstrom. That should feel like a walk in the park in comparison. My next piece of advice is hard to measure and prescribe in a meaningful way, but it's always be prepared to fall back. I know for some players, the very idea of falling back is a concept that just doesn't exist in their head. These are usually the advance at all costs and leave everyone else behind kind of players, which usually will not make it far into Havoc. Now, it's hard to say exactly when you should fall back into a room or area you've cleared before, but one of the most obvious signals to retreat is whenever you trigger a monster or a champion spawn. If you see a Chaos spawn or Plague Ogrin or a Captain or the Twins spawn, that is a sign to stop your advance, fall back, and deal with the problem at hand first. If you keep pushing forward, you risk either triggering additional monsters or boss spawns, pulling ambient elites, and even worse, activating a demon ritual, which now puts your ability to deal with problems on a strict timer. Worst case scenario, you trigger all of the above to happen at the same time, and most of the time, this is probably going to be a run wipe. So, if you want your runs to have a higher success rate, fall back now to advance forward later. Buy you and your team the chance of advancing into the next 5 minutes of the mission. This brings us to the next piece of advice. Fast is slow and slow is smooth. Unless you are literally the top 0.05% of cracked players in this game and know the mechanics of the game inside out, Playing a high Havoc mission by rushing through it without cheesing or breaking it pretty much never works. Don't mistake slow with ineffective. If you take too long to bring down the overwhelming number of enemies that are being thrown at you, your problems are only going to be compounded as the director sends more and more until you slip up somewhere and the whole team crumbles. Being slow is about being deliberate with your actions and positioning. Why are you taking this route you are taking? Is it safer? Is this the fallback zone you want to secure? Should you take the top path or the lower path? Do you need to fight every single enemy that you encounter? Deliberate decision making is a difficult thing to implement immediately and is more of a muscle that you train over time. The more you are thrown into a situation where you need to make good, deliberate choices rather than try and steamroll forward, the better you get at doing just that. The final piece of advice is to tailor your build to the mission. As you've seen earlier, Havoc will throw all manner of modifiers at you to make your life harder. To raise your odds of success, your build needs to help you solve problems that you'll be facing throughout the mission. How are you dealing with specials? Are you the main horde buster of the group? How's your anti-armor effectiveness? These are just some of the questions I often ask myself when I'm designing a build to bring into Havoc. In a perfect world, you'd be coordinating with your team to map out your builds for the most effective combination. But if you're playing with pubs or with a team that doesn't really communicate, then your build will need to lean towards a little more of a generalist to cover as many bases as you can. Don't forget to make some adjustments to your defensive choices too. Missions with tox gas or have a lot of corruption like the modifier the Blight spreads might warrant picking up some corruption resistance or having a little more health to mitigate some of its effects. And if you're a zealot player, tailoring your build to pick up the Beacon of Purity aura can help alleviate a lot of pressure from corruption. Build yourself up for success. So, that brings us to the end of this video. Again, this wasn't supposed to be a video that delved into how best to take on Havoc missions, but one that introduced you as a beginner about what to expect from the game mode and a little bit of advice on how you might prepare yourself for it. With that, thank you all for watching and I will see you in the next one. Varlet.